Jade from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
How are you doing, Darren?
I'm doing all right, my friend. Doing okay. Just, I'm trying not to say living a life chasing a dream because I say that a lot.
You do?
I'm trying to think of a new catchphrase.
Okay.
Trying to think of a new way to start this puppy off.
Listeners, please contact Darren on the socials and let him know what you think his new catchphrase should be.
Yeah, let me know.
He's open to suggestions.
I'm open to suggestions as long as it's not something problematic, sexist or vaguely racist, something that could get me canceled.
Well, there go all my suggestions.
Yeah, by the woke left.
Is that a big concern?
No, not really.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I could use the attention, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like everybody who's canceled gets to complain about being canceled on their Netflix special or something. So
yeah, I know.
They always seem to have an outlet to complain about being canceled, and it's like, no, you haven't been canceled. Dude.
Yeah,
for the purposes of the discussion, I'm assuming the person canceled is a dude.
Yeah, I mean, when you said that, I was thinking about that Roseanne Barr special that came out on Fox Nation.
Oh, is that where it came out?
Yeah.
A friend of mine, my friend Brian Cronin, was posting about Roseanne this week. He has a site called what is it called? Pop Culture. Oh shit. I'm blanking on the exact name of it. It's like pop culture something or other. Do pop culture and Brian Cronin, and you'll find it. But he talked about like pop culture myths and things like that, and he wrote a thing saying like, oh yeah, the way they killed off Roseanne on the Connor show was fine, and it made sense in the continuity of the show because apparently she was complaining about that.
About what that she got killed.
About how they wrote her out of the show because like she had the revival of Roseanne, she said the racist shit, and then they were like, oh yeah, we're getting rid of her, but we're going to keep the show going. So they rebranded the show The Connors, and apparently they wrote it out because her out by saying like she had an OD from opiates or something, but she was her character on the show was taking prescription drugs and having a addiction. So it was a logical way to write her out, is what Brian was.
So when she was in the rebooted, she was like popping pills.
Apparently they did at least one story about that, yes.
All right, so that makes sense. All right.
Right. So, I mean, that's...
Yeah, it's not like Poochie where they had to go back to their home planet or nothing.
And honestly, I would have been fine with that as well, because, like, we're getting rid of Roseanne. That just seems like a net gain to me.
Yeah.
I've never been too terribly fond of her. I find her rather annoying.
I will admit, back in the day, I thought her show was very interesting. Like, I'll admit, I did like the old, original recipe Roseanne.
The OG Roseanne.
Yeah, but just because like it did show like a side of America that you really didn't see. Like,
well, that's true. Yeah, I mean it was about blue collar America and the sort of life that the people were struggling more. I just never watched much of it just because I always found her annoying. So.
No, I could see that, but like, I mean, her was kind of annoying, but it had John Goodman in it and Laurie Metcalf, and those are two like powerhouse actors. So like, I enjoyed seeing them.
Yeah, killer cast. It was just she was kind of a deal breaker for me.
So. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I hear. But
yeah, I thought the odd episode of The Connors, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. I do like that they kind of show this part of America that because I guess like most sitcoms they kind of focus on young folks living in the city. But here it's like these middle-aged people in the middle America trying to get by. The fact that like a lot of the characters in the family wore the same clothes in different episodes, I thought I don't think
that's something you don't see much on TV.
No, exactly.
People recycle in their wardrobes much.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you think about that, that's like a big thing. Like every sitcom, you see people wearing totally different gear or totally different clothing. But like Roseanne, they had these things where like, oh, she wore that sweatshirt on like 2 weeks ago in the last episode, and they had things like where Dan started a motorcycle shop and it went out of business and failed, and and Becky ran away and eloped with her boyfriend. Like it's like all these like real life shit that people like you don't see too much in like sitcom that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did like the show. Her and her politics. That's a whole nother ball of wax.
Well, I mean, that doesn't match what you were telling me before we started recording. I mean,
See,
you were like, man, she was really on the money with all of that stuff.
she was telling it like it is, and the woke media liberally won't let her do the bit here.
Folks, this is what Darren sounds like when we're not
I
recording.
know. I
This,
turned it to David Tell.
yeah, he's been doing this character voice for quite some time, and I'm surprised that it took this long for the mask to finally come off.
That's right.
But anyway, should we get to the main topic of this podcast?
Let's talk about the main topic of this podcast,
or the main topic. We could do that too.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about SNL, Saturday Night Live. And this week it's Travis Kelce as the host and Kelsea Ballerini as the musical guest. That's not going to get confusing for us.
Nope. Not at all.
This was season 48, episode 14 from March the 4th, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not unusual these days for us to have not heard of the musical guest, but usually we've heard of the host in some fashion. And this week, not so much. Yeah, we were not familiar with Travis Kelce.
Yeah, that's mainly because, as we said before, we're not sports people. We don't follow the sports ball.
Right.
So, if we were, of course, we'd know that, Travis is, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's won 2 Super Bowls, including the most recent one, as he mentioned in the monologue.
Right.
He has a brother that actually plays for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Correct.
And he's been around for a bit, apparently. I know he has a podcast, I believe, with his brother. And
cool.
he was on Jimmy Fallon, and apparently, as he's talked about it also in the monologue, he had a reality dating show back in 2016.
You see, I didn't know that, and we will talk about that, I suppose, when we get to the monologue. But yeah, that's kind of interesting, I guess.
Kinda.
I mean, that's like vaguely interesting.
Mildly interesting.
Mildly interesting. I mean, and that's what we're going for, right?
That's what we aim for here.
That's where we live. So this was kind of uncharted territory for us as SNL fans.
Yeah, because as we said before, usually when the host is an athlete, it could go one of 2 ways. Usually, with the exception of wrestlers, athletes are usually kind of okay to not great.
I don't eagerly anticipate the athlete hosted episodes of SNL just because, usually they're not going to be great actors.
Yeah, usually, there are some that use their not great acting skills to their detriment to be charming, like Charles Barkley. He's been there 4 times, and people seem to really like him, even though he's not that great an actor. And of course, you have once in a while you have athlete who's actually really good at comedy, like Peyton Manning, who's like a unicorn. He's like one of the few people that can actually.
I think the big standout is The Rock. I mean, he was so good at hosting SNL that really, I think, helped launch his acting career in a big way.
I would, you know what? Yeah, I would say so. I think it's one of those things where people saw him as this big beefy dude, so they figured, oh, he's probably good as good action hero. He'd be like our new Schwarzenegger, and I think he was going that route for a while.
Right.
But then, like you said, as he did more and more episodes of SNL and hosted, people saw oh, he's kind of funny too. He can do some comedy, so maybe
he can deliver a line. He can do the comedy. Let's put him in some comedy. Let's have him do some stuff. We'll put him in some funny make-em-ups.
Yeah, this big slab of beef is funny as fuck.
Yeah, and by the way, SNL, let's have John Cena host.
Let's do it.
Come on, get off your ass.
Let's do it. Yeah,
what are you even doing? How has he not hosted recently?
That is surprising. Yeah, I thought, because even after the Peacemaker show came back, he was having a bit of a resurgence.
He's having a moment. Yes.
Yeah. I would love to.
And then he's in the Knives Out sequel. He's in Glass Onion. He kicks ass in that. And
oh wait, no, I think you're thinking about Dave Bautista.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, yeah. Somehow my brain went right from John Cena to Dave Bautista, and which is weird because I do totally know that they're different people.
They're all just big slab of.
I was just picturing the big beefy guys who are both funny, but yeah, Dave Bautista also needs to host SNL.
I would love to see Dave Bautista host it because
Mm-hmm.
he's actually made some really interesting choices in his
Yes.
acting in the movies he's been in lately. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of course, Guardians of the Galaxy, and of course, he's in the most recent M Night Shyamalan movie. He was in what was it, like Blade Runner, the most recent Blade Runner movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's actually kind of branching out and like really trying to like
Yeah,
spread
no, and it's
his
cool, and
chops.
I think he has some talent, and I think John Cena has some talent. And I'd love to see them both host. Those would both be fun hosts.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, SNL, if you're listening, and we know you are, uh, book both of these big boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so the show at hand.
Hmm.
It opened up with a Fox and Friends cold open, talking about the Dominion lawsuit. So we got a new bunch of cast members playing the people from Fox and Friends now, which is kind of different. We got Mikey Day, we got Heidi, and we got Bowen. And I remember back in the day, back in my day when it was who was it? We had Vanessa Bayer playing the blonde lady.
Yeah, wasn't Bobby in there too?
Bobby Moynihan was playing Steve Ducey.
I want to say Taron Killam, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Taryn. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And now we
And
got like a whole new crop of kids.
yep, yep. I kind of miss them doing the Fox corrections thing where they would just like run the rapid fire corrections and you'd have to use your pause button or slow mo to see what they all were.
That was fantastic. That
That was
was some
wonderful. I mean, it
that
was just
yeah
absurd things that were said on Fox News.
yeah. I kind of wish
I
they'd go
wish
back
they
to
would
it.
bring that back when they
I
do the Fox
yeah.
and Friends stuff.
I definitely wish they bring that. It's a better way to end the sketch, which we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah. So here they're talking about Fox is getting sued by the Dominion voting machine people. It's like a $1.6 billion lawsuit, and it's come out over the course of this trial that like the Fox hosts don't really believe much of anything they say or push on the air. Which,
What?
ooh, shocker.
What? It's all a sham? You're kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh,
So what do we think of this?
eh.
Okay,
Like they have Heidi who plays Ainsley Earnhardt
that's
talking
the
about
name.
Ainsley. Yes, Steve Ducey, Ainsley Earnhardt, and Brian Kilmeade.
Right.
Um, they talk about the Dominion lawsuit. Of course, they confuse Dominions with the Minions. Those little
Right,
yellow
and
thing,
they're mixing up Rupert Murdoch with Alex
Murdoch.
Murdo, the guy whose big trial was happening this week, and he got a guilty verdict.
Hmm.
And they're like, Rupert Murdoch's not a murderer, which kind of funny. Um,
Kinda, kind of.
I mean, it's in the ballpark of funny. It's in the neighborhood.
It's
Like
in
you take a couple turns, and you pass it by on your way to Hilarity Town.
it's in the vicinity of funny. Like if you
It's in
put
the
it,
vicinity. Like funny it's not out of sight.
yeah.
It's you
If
can
you
see it. It's like a little blurry in the distance. Maybe you have to put your glasses on.
Yeah, like if you typed in funny in your GPS, it would be like, oh, it's like a 20-minute drive. All right,
Right,
I
right.
can I can get there.
And we have James Nelson Johnson showing up as Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy. Pretty
Uh,
good impression.
yeah, solid impression. It's talking, of course, spewing out other untruths like every Dominion machine has a Venezuelan Oompa Loompa in it that eats your
Yeah,
votes.
love that line. That was a great line. A Venezuelan Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, and of course, I also like the fact that he talks about how all this has taken a toll on his wife, and of course, he pulls out a pillow with a woman's face drawn on it.
Ha 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 ha
Yeah,
ha.
calls her Pillowmina.
Yay.
Uh huh.
Um, this was, I mean, it wasn't much more than okay for me. It was fine. The performances were good. I don't
Yeah,
know. Making fun of Fox News, it's kind of shooting fish in a barrel at this point, right?
yeah, I would say so, and also the fact that it ended on the O.J. Simpson joke, that kind of came out of
Oddish
nowhere.
way to end.
Yeah, I was like, we're still doing O.J. now.
We SNL has had a lot of trouble with ending sketches lately. I've found a
Yeah,
lot of sketches just seem to end very randomly or very abruptly or both, and we see both of those things in evidence in tonight's show. I think.
yeah. Look, I'm no big fancy city comedy writer. So,
Right.
like, I can't say that I would be able to just write a, fantastic, ending for a sketch every time. So I know it's tough, but like, I
Hmm.
don't know, man. Some of these endings for these sketches are like, they're just like whatever. The end.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta
The
go.
the ending with O.J. Simpson, I can't even quite remember the rationale they used, and yeah, Keenan was just. I did like how off the cuff Keenan said the "Live from New York" at Saturday Night thing.
Yeah, yeah, that was
I
interesting.
thought that was amusing, just because you never hardly ever hear it said that way.
Yeah, usually they scream it like they're in labor or
Well,
something.
yeah, I think that's something Dana Carvey kind of started. He would always go "Live from New York" at Saturday night, and he'd always draw the night, and kind of everybody else followed that
Uh,
lead.
so
And
everybody's biting off his style.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I mean, it's Dana Carvey's world. We're just living in it, my friend.
indeed, indeed. But yeah, like I wasn't too well. I thought the cold open was okay. I think the fact that it's pretty short helps it out.
Didn't overstay its welcome. Liked
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
that. We're in the 4 to 5 minute mark, which is the sweet spot. I feel like.
yeah. Keep that up, guys. Keep
Yeah,
that up.
I'm glad we're not doing much of the 7 minute cold opens
Yeah, just
lately.
yeah. I will give these cold opens that they are learning to make them shorter. Like just they're
Yes,
cutting the fat, and for that I applaud them.
yes. That's me. That's me applauding them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. All right.
By the way, I guess we should say we don't have writer credits for this week because we weren't able to find them before we started recording. So
Yeah.
good job, writers. I'll just I'll just say a big blanket thank you to all the writers.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. All right. Breaking news. All right. I just found the writers. All right. Somebody put it up.
Well, now I feel like an idiot.
Now you're a damn dirty liar. I'm not even joking. I was just looking on Twitter, and somebody just
20 minutes
posted.
he's been searching for this people.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
wow.
well, don't keep us in suspense. Who wrote the cold open? Do we have credits?
Yes, Allison Gates, Streeter Seidel, Ken Sublette.
Okay, well, here's some applause directed directly to you folks.
Yay.
Yay.
That is weird how we were talking about. You just mentioned it and I just found it.
Yeah, well, I
That
thought I
is
should say something because we usually do try to make an effort to credit the writers.
that is
And I didn't realize you were still searching. I thought, like me, you had given up long ago. But
actually I was just like randomly looking through Twitter while you were talking and it just popped up. Crazy.
wow, okay, so you only have to pay attention to me when I'm talking. Good to know. Good to know, my friend.
Wait, what?
Good to know. Oh no, okay, all right. I see what you're doing.
Hmm? Are you wait?
All right.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Monologue.
Monologue. Monologue.
Monologue.
Monologue.
Monologue.
Travis Kelsey came out and did the monologue. Okay, first off, this is something I didn't notice until the rewatch. What the heck was going on with the cut of his jacket?
I didn't even notice. Why? What's wrong?
Okay. He's wearing a jacket, and he came out and it's like I've never seen a jacket with this sort of cut. It's like he has two extra sleeves sewn into the middle of it, and they're just dangling in the front.
Hmm.
So it's like a jacket with like kind of a loincloth, but it's like cuffs.
Oh.
Because they were like buttons on the cuffs, and then like he's got like a double lapel thing. Like there's a lapel underneath each lapel. It's so weird. I've never seen a jacket cut like this.
I didn't even notice that. Wow, I didn't know you're
Yeah,
such a fashionista, there, John.
he is. I mean, I'm not really saying it looked bad. It was just odd and interesting to me. So I just wanted to see if that was something that you noticed, and the answer is no. So we will
No,
move on.
I did not. Wow, John's like you're like a regular Tim Gunn over here,
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he was making it work. I will say that.
making it work.
It's just weird. I don't
All right.
see the function of that. I don't see the purpose of that. I'm perplexed.
He's just trying out a new style, baby. It's called
Okay.
fashion. It's called fashion, darling.
Okay. All right. So he came out and he sort of like went through his vitals for the people who might not know him. Plays
Yes.
for the Kansas City Chiefs, played in 2 Super Bowls, including the one we just had. Played against his brother, who's a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yeah, his brother's in the audience along with his mom and dad.
And he's like very stone faced. He's talking about like the competition between them, and he's like, "Oh no, it's never affected our relationship." And then they just cut to Jason just looking kind of angry.
Yes.
That was cute.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and he agreed that the ref made the right call during the
Right.
Super Bowl, and of course he clearly does not.
Right, right. So it was funny that they were playing that up. I mean, I gotta say, overall, I was pretty impressed with him in the monologue. It's, uh, as he said, like, most athletes, they're not really public speakers, except for like post game interviews and stuff. And he even like cut to him giving a pep talk to his teammates, which was just him going more, more, more.
Yeah, he's a fan of the Andrea True Connection song.
But I was yes,
That's a deep cut.
yes, yes. More, more, more.
More.
How do you
You
like
like
it?
it?
How
How
do
do
you
you
like
like it? Song's
it?
awesome.
But I thought he came off very well in the monologue. He was very relaxed. He was very natural. He's very charismatic. I could see why they asked him to host, and I was like, okay, I'm very impressed with him so far, and I have a good feeling about the show.
Yeah, and he talked about growing up and how he was kicked off his high school team for failing English and French, and
Yeah.
got kicked off his college team because he tested positive for weed, and
Hmm.
like he was really sort of telling these stories of kind of endearing him to the
Yeah.
audience. Who,
So he's like, even if that happens to you, you can grow up and play in 2 Super Bowls. So,
yeah, that's right.
yeah. So I was impressed with him. It was, I mean, certainly better than last week's Woody Harrelson
Yeah,
monologue, which
it didn't
was
end. Yeah,
odd.
it didn't end in an anti-vax rant, so it's a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, yeah. I still don't know what was going on there, but
Oof. Yeah, and
anyway, but he acquitted himself very well with the monologue.
yeah, and of course he also mentioned his failed reality dating show called Catching Kelsey that was on E back in 2016, which I've never heard of
I
until.
don't think I've ever heard of that. I mean, that's not terribly unusual for me for an E show. I don't watch the E network like at all, really.
Yeah,
So
I mean he said,
you could tell me they had most any show on there, and I'd be like, oh, okay.
yeah, and basically he said it was kind of like The Bachelor, but instead of roses, I handed out footballs, and instead of watching, people did not.
Yeah, he said that because NBC owns it, it could be on Peacock, it could be streaming on there, and Peacock was like, no, we're good.
And that made his brother laugh.
Yeah, and then they cut to his brother just laughing his head off, and he was like, "Ah, I knew I'd get you." Yeah, it was cute. It was a nice monologue.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, not bad.
I was like, I see the appeal.
Yeah,
I see the appeal, Travis Kelsey.
the charming slab of beef.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so this monologue is written by Mike DeCenzo and Jake Nordwind.
And a very nice job they did.
The monologue men.
Yeah, yeah. Are they like the regular monologue guys? Because usually we have like regular monologue writers.
I think it's normally. I'll go check, but like I remember, like every time we talk about the monologue, I usually see DeCenzo and Nordwind's name in there.
Right. Yeah. I know. John Mulaney has talked about when he was writing at SNL. Like another writer came to him and said, like, okay, we're gonna stake out the monologue because the monologue always gets on the show.
That's that's some pretty smart thinking there.
It's a solid strategy, man.
Solid strategy.
And I bet that there are a lot of writers who are just like, I don't really want to do the monologue. And he was like, we're gonna be the monologue guys.
That's right.
So
it's pretty primo position.
Yep. Top of the show.
Yeah.
Top of the show. Speaking of the top of the show, we got our first sketch. American Girl Cafe.
American Girl. Oh yeah. All right. You're not gonna sing with me? What's happening here?
Well, I was trying to figure out if you were doing the Tom Petty song.
I'm doing, of course. What other American Girl song is there?
Well, I don't know, but I heard you go American Girl, not in the tune of the Tom Petty song, and I was like, maybe there's an American Girl song I'm not aware of.
Whatever. It was kind of.
And then you said, all right.
That was totally in tune. That sounded amazing.
I'm not saying it was out of tune. I'm just saying it wasn't the tune of that song.
Whatever, John. I'm the best. That sounds great.
Okay. Folks, let us know. Did that sound like the Tom Petty song? Yeah. I say no. I say I had no idea until he said, all right.
and listeners, please let John know that he's wrong and I have the voice of an angel. Thank you.
Yeah.
American Girl. American Girl Cafe, written by Mikey Day, Streeter Seidel.
Okay. And with this one, we've got Travis at an American Girl Cafe, which I guess is a thing. I wasn't really aware of this. Don't have kids, don't have daughters, so I have no reason to be aware of this or go to this. And that was kind of half the point of the sketch. Travis is there as a guy by himself with 2 American Girl dolls.
Yeah, I mean, from what I gathered, it seems like a place in like probably the Times Square area in New York where like they sell these American Girl dolls, and it's like a little
Mm-hmm.
cafe where you can have a nice little cafe dinner with your doll, and it's cute if you're a little girl who's into having a little tea party cafe, drinks with your doll. But if you're a
Right.
grown ass bearded man
Right.
wanting to have,
People have concerns.
as they
So
should.
we for a good part of the sketch, Mikey's just kind of trying to feel Travis out to see if his character is a pedophile.
Yes, and yeah, of course, checks under the table, make sure he didn't have an erection. Uh,
Right.
as you do.
Heidi comes over and says, "Yay, could you just please keep your hands on top of the table?" Yeah, no, just a COVID thing we're doing.
A COVID thing.
Um, so
Uh,
there's some cute stuff, and he says every once in a while he says some remarkably odd things, like when
yeah,
one of his dolls has had her first period.
and she thinks she's a woman now.
Yeah, and when he tries to join a father and daughter, and Keenan's there with his daughter and their American Girl doll, and he's trying to get a flirtation with his doll and her boy doll. I didn't know they had boy American uh, Girl dolls.
I didn't even know anything about American Dolls like at all until this sketch. I really.
I knew about them because there was a thing when like Conan O'Brien was on tour. He did a thing with Taylor Tomlinson where
Oh,
he
that's
presented
right.
her with her choice of two American Girl dolls,
Oh,
and then he gave the other one to Flula Borg. I think they're a little like what the Cabbage Patch dolls were back in the day, the Cabbage Patch Kids, where like each doll is individual and they each have their own story.
oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I do remember seeing that Conan
I
thing.
know they come with like a little biography.
Okay,
It's like, oh, this is Katie Catchall, or whatever her name is. I don't know what sort of names they have.
right.
And then and she was born in such and so, and she grew up here, and and I guess it's helps you have a bit of an immersive fantasy or something.
Okay, all right. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cute.
That's cute.
Um,
But
and
yeah,
yeah, anyway, so like Travis, he takes his doll over to Keenan's table, and he's saying weird things like, "Oh, don't worry, she's on the pill." Uh,
yeah, and of course everybody is very concerned, and of course they have Devin come out
yeah.
as the security guard, trying, saying, "Hey, can you go over there? That person's being a bit of a creeper." And of course,
Hmm.
Devin goes over to Sarah Sherman, who's there with her daughter. Who I thought for a minute, I thought Sarah was actually Chloe, but then I checked again. I was like, "Oh, that's
The wig through you.
yeah, like oh, it's that Sarah in the blonde wig." And then of
Yeah.
course Devin goes up to Sarah, but like, "Hey, listen up, pervert. We go."
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was talking about before. Super abrupt ending.
Yeah,
Super abrupt and just seemed, I don't know. I thought the sketch was dragging a little bit, but wow, it ended so fast.
it really did. Like it just ended with the security guard yelling at somebody else instead of
Yeah.
at the Travis
And
Kelce's.
it ended, and I was literally like, "Whoa, that's it? What? That's how we're? Oh, okay, all right. Well, you really didn't know how to end this thing, did you?"
They really slammed the brakes on that thing.
They really did. It was just odd. It was startling how quickly this sketch ended. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Something that amused me on the rewatch though was I noticed that the child actress playing Keenan's daughter looked so damn bored. she she could not have been more bored.
It's like, kid, you're on national television. Just
Well,
don't.
I always wonder when they have a sketch that requires them to use actual children, because like of course the kids have to stay up for the live show, and I always
Uh,
kind of wonder like what is it. Do you just like force the kids to nap early in the day so that they're awake enough for the show?
just give them a bunch of sugar. They'll be fine. Just give them cool.
and they don't usually ask the kids to do much
Yeah,
because you don't want to put your your sketch in the hands of like a 6-year old who might get nervous or something like that.
that's right.
But
Kid, listen, kid, you're anchoring the sketch, all right? So you
right,
better,
right.
you
So
better
yeah,
show
they
up.
don't usually have any dialogue or anything like that. But I was very amused by how bored the kid with Keenan was.
The kid's like,
I mean,
whatever.
she's just like stone faced, man.
I am so over this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I guess the sketch was all right. It didn't
I mean,
blow
it
me
was
over.
it had it had the shock value, and Travis was playing it well. I thought he's playing it with a lot of conviction. I liked, I guess Mikey is the main other supporting player, and he's just sort of the waiter getting increasingly disturbed by the stuff that Travis is saying. It worked okay. Like I said, I thought it dragged a little bit, but
yeah, it was definitely dragging in a few places, and the abrupt ending was just
yeah, the main
kind
thing
of
I needed
weird.
was an ending.
Yeah,
I was like, what? Ooh, okay, weird.
very
Um,
weird.
and speaking of weird,
Oh, here we go.
our next fellas, they've got a cornerstone on weird on SNL these days. It's Please Don't Destroy with a short called Self Defense.
Right, of course, the PDD boys, Martin, John, and Ben.
Yes.
We see them, of course, in the office.
And it's writing night. I mean, a Please Don't Destroy sketch that starts with them in their office on writing night. Do go on.
Yeah, shouldn't they be writing? But yeah, like we see them, like asking their interns to get them coffee. Of course, the interns text them back saying we don't get coffee for bitch boys,
Yep.
and then they just feel like, oh, everybody takes advantage of us. No one respects us. We need to go to a self defense class,
Right.
and to build up our self esteem and our manliness.
Right.
So
And,
they
and the instructor is played by Travis Kelsey as Kurt Lightning.
pretty cool name.
I love that name. That's a great fucking name, man. Kurt Lightning. You know some shit's gonna go down.
Kurt Lightning.
Yeah. Okay, that was Grease Lightning. See,
There
I
you go.
recognize that
See,
song
thank you. See.
because you said it like Travolta.
Oh, okay, fine. I get
See.
it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So Kurt Lightning, he starts like bringing the Please Don't Destroy guys up, and we get a lot of cutaways with stuntmen like going through furniture and taking falls, and
Yeah, exactly. Like I think at one point, like I think the first thing is he calls up John, and then John says,
yeah,
I want you to, stand up for yourself, be a man, and he
right.
ends up just knocking John straight down to the floor, and
Like for a good part of the sketch, they think that John is dead, and I honestly was kind of hoping that John would be dead for the rest of the sketch. I thought that would be funny. Nothing against John, I just thought it would be funny to have his character be dead.
right. But yeah, but I mean, Kurt Lining, he says that he tries to pump up the boys, like, yeah, you need to stand tall. I know you had a tough life ever since your dad left. And it's like,
Hmm.
you're making stuff up that never happened. And
Right,
of course, it ends with Kurt Lining punching Ben through a table,
right,
and
right.
like him laying comatose on the
I
floor.
mean, they did a very nice job with the cutaways and stuff. I mean, it looked about as much as it could like it was really what the Please Don't Destroy boys crashing through all that shit.
Exactly. But then, of course, it gets even crazier when like Martin is the last one who's conscious, and
Mhm.
Kurt Lining tells him to punch out an old lady who's in the class with them.
Yeah, which somehow evolves into a Russian roulette game.
Yeah, because like Martin goes to punch her, she stops the punch. He's like, "Not today, bitch!" And then she flips Martin over.
And a
Martin's
gun flies out of his clothes.
Yeah, and then John's like, "You have a gun?" He's like, "Yes, I live in fear."
Yeah, yeah,
And then like she takes the gun, the revolver, dumps out the bullets, takes except for one bullet. Say, "Yeah, you want to play a game?" Puts one bullet in the chamber, spins it around, clicks it to her head, deer hunter style, and it turns into Russian roulette.
yep.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah,
Uh,
uh,
yeah, and then of course after that, the woman is about to attack John, but then Ben wakes up. She slams the old woman into a glass cabinet, and and then suddenly everybody does a little slow clap, saying that they've done it. They've stood up for themselves. They stood up for each other, and they're rewarded with the interns giving them coffee. Which of course,
which they then pour on them.
yeah, after Kurt Lightning leg sweeps them all to the ground.
Right, and I'm sure those had to be genuine SNL interns.
Yeah, I mean their acting wasn't. It was.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, that's how I figured it out. They were not used to being on camera, apparently. So.
Hey, John, we respect you now. Look, I'm no actor either, but I'm just saying. It was, yeah. That kid is not majoring in acting, whatever college.
A bit stiff, I suppose.
A bit,
Yeah.
a bit, a bit.
Yeah. So yeah.
Uh, but
But I enjoy this. I usually enjoy the stuff from the Please Don't Destroy Good Boys. So
yeah, I enjoyed. Dare I say, Sketch of the Night? I really dug this one.
could be sketch of the night for me. There's maybe a couple other candidates.
Ooh, all right,
So I'll see. I'll maybe decide by the end of the
interesting.
podcast, or maybe I won't. You just never know.
Ooh, keeping
You
us
never know.
dangling that carrot. All right.
I'm adding an element of suspense to the podcast,
Ooh,
Aaron. It's going to
wow,
keep people listening.
an air of mystery. Ooh,
Yes.
interesting. All right. Okay, so after that, let's go into our next sketch, Mama's Funeral.
Mama's Funeral.
The sequel to Mama's House.
Or Mama's Family.
Yes. Damn it, Mama's Family. That's what I meant. Fuck. I fucked up the joke. All right, whatever. All right.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like Big Mama's House or something.
Oh, I couldn't. I should have said that. I should have said I meant that instead of whatever. I'm just fucking up all the.
If you want to do another song, there's Mama Said Knock You Out.
Ooh.
Do you want to sing a few bars of that?
I can say, oh, Dear Mama, that Tupac song.
Okay.
Bad Mama Jama.
All right.
Of course. Uh, that's all I got.
Big Bad Mama, the movie with Angie Dickinson.
Oh,
Where she's like the like a bank robber in the 20s, I think.
Big Bad Mama. That's called.
Big Bad Mama. Yes.
Sounds like a blaxploitation film. But I'm surprised.
I don't think it was a blaxploitation film. It was like this. She was playing a lady and she had two daughters and they robbed banks or something. And Robert Culp and William Shatner are in it.
Wow. Okay. So in my mind, I think like the word "mama" was invented like in the '70s, like when black people were like, "Hey, Fox and Mama." I, or but then again,
I don't know if it was invented in the 70s, but I mean, it probably came into more popular use in the 70s.
But then
Anyway,
again, there's the mamas and the papas. That's the '60s. All right. Well, we're going down a rabbit hole here, people.
So you've already defeated your own argument.
Yes, exactly. I've already debunked me.
Right. So anyway, that's Mama's funeral, and Travis Kelsey is the big speaker at the funeral, and we quickly find out that he's like rigged up her dead body. This was a weird one.
This was I think I know what this was based off. I think.
Oh, it was based off something. Okay.
I do think I remember seeing somewhere like some people actually did this where they took the body of a loved one and like propped them up in a way to make as their final farewell. I think like somebody was dressed up as like kind of like a green pimp suit or
Well, that
something like
sounds
that.
sane.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't know. I remember seeing something like that on the interweb, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, this was an odd one because
This was an odd one. I mean, they've got her in like an oversized T-shirt, and I mean, this is one I'm almost at a loss to describe.
Yeah, because so they're at the funeral. We see Travis Kelsey as who was Mama's caretaker. Mama's played by Ego, and he was her caretaker and her lover.
And he kind of implies that they hooked up.
Yeah, no, he says it outright, not implied. He's like, yeah,
Okay.
we were. I was giving her this bone, and like she, and she, so he propped her up like in a in a chair with sunglasses.
And the family, of course, is weirded out by it because this is another entry in our long-running series of sketches of, people sitting somewhere and being like, "There's a weird thing happening in front of us, and we're going to comment on the weirdness."
You hit the nail on the head of one of my issues with this, and this is something that they do later on during the show where, like, the joke is them, just basically stating what they see in front of them because like they have Ego smoking Newport menthols, sunglasses with a bottle of Dr. Pepper and a Tweety T-shirt. And of course, one of the jokes is like, I think Devin says like, "Is she wearing a Tweety T-shirt? Is she smoking a menthol?" Like, we see she's doing this. Why are you repeating like the obvious? I don't know.
They wanted to make sure that the costume department really got it, I guess.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only note I took on this sketch was Keenan at one point calls Travis's character Vanillasaurus Rex.
That was
kind of amusing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a clever turn of phrase.
Yeah, that was a good little bit. And then I think at one point Keenan, who's supposed to be Ego's son, says, "Yeah, like I miss my mom. She's a great mom. I can almost hear her talking now." And then we see that Travis had a speaker put into her body connected to a pull string. So he just pulls the string and she says things like, "Oh, don't you be embarrassing me in front of these white people."
Yeah, you're letting all the good air out.
Yeah,
And
and like,
and then they like launch her out of the chair, and we have a cutaway shot of her like flying, and it's just a weird sketch.
yeah, because like he put like hydraulics on her chair,
Yeah,
and of course Devin Walker said like, "Did you put hydraulics on my grandma?" It's like they're just constantly stating the what's
yeah,
happening. It's just like that's not a joke.
uh-huh,
You're just saying what you see.
yeah,
And but I will admit, Travis did have a good joke in there saying, "Hey guys, look, I spent $3,000 on this, and that is every penny that she had." I think, all right,
yeah,
that's something. But
yeah. That's a decent line, and hey, look, it ate up nearly 4 minutes of airtime, and really isn't that all we're
that's
asking?
yeah, yeah. This was a weird one. It's like I kind of see what they were doing, but I don't know.
It,
Maybe
yeah, it fell into the more odd than funny category for me.
yeah, I would say so. Maybe it's the
And we'll have a few others in that category before the end of the show.
oh we will. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the desecrating a dead body is kind of weird to me, but yeah, this was more odd.
Oh, not to me. I
Oh,
mean, that wasn't the weird part.
okay. What you do on the weekends is what you do, man.
All about desecrating the dead bodies, son.
Oh God, damn, homie. Yeah, but this was weird. This was a
It was weird. It was weird. More weird than funny.
yeah. I mean, this is almost like a 10-1, actually. And I think about it.
Yeah. It kind of did feel like that. Something I found much more straightforward funny though was the next sketch, which was a pre-tape called "Straight Male Friend."
Right. Oh, it shows
Uh,
Mama's Funeral, written by Gary Richardson, Ben Silva, Asha Ward.
okay. Thought we'd already given those credits,
I
so
think so.
sorry
But,
for barreling on without that.
right. And
Um,
yeah, Straight Male Friend, written by Streeter Seidel, Bone Yang, with an assist from Alex English.
oh, nice assist, Alex
Oh.
English. Nice. Nice.
Way to
I don't
go.
know what parts you wrote, but nice.
Way to go, bro.
Yeah. Fist bump. Boom.
Chest bump.
Um, yeah. So this was Bowen is talking about how, as a gay man, he has a circle of straight female friends, as a lot of gay men tend to do. But, sometimes it gets a little much because they have very in-depth conversations. They have very meaningful conversations. And sometimes you just want a low effort, low stakes relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you get a straight male friend.
Yay. That's where
Yay.
we come in.
That's where we come in. We as straight males. Um,
Yeah.
and then we cut to Travis, and he's just like sitting on the couch playing video games and not saying much of anything meaningful.
Right. Men come with no emotional commitment, no financial investment. Low effort, low stakes, no drama.
Mm-hmm.
I also like at the bottom of there's that one scene where if you look at the small text at the bottom,
The scroll, yeah,
yeah, 3 or 4 male friends may result in a trip to Atlantic City.
yeah, that was great. I
Yeah.
loved that. Made a point of writing that down.
I say that as someone who has gone to Atlantic City on a whim with 2 other friends.
On a whim. Ooh, look at
And
that impulsive Atlantic City trip.
oh yeah, oh
I
yeah,
think every Atlantic City trip I've ever gone on has been planned to some degree.
oh
So
nice, all right.
yeah.
Look at you, big planner.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all I got.
But this was very funny. I like this. It was a cute premise.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't overstay its welcome. It was a lot of good gags
Yeah,
in it.
I like one gag I know. It's like when they cut to them in like a chicken wing restaurant, and
Hmm.
it's the wing pit, and like I'm pretty sure that's a nod to that pre-tape from the Pedro Pascal episode with the wing pit commercial.
Oh wow! I didn't get the
Ah,
connection. We're building like an SNL cinematic universe.
that's right. SNLCU.
They're probably like, we have all these wing pit logos from a few weeks ago. You want to just use those? Yes, let's use those. Okay, and we got a lot of the wing props left over.
It's,
Yes, they're like 3-week-old wings at this point,
yeah,
but
it's all
god
connected.
damn it, you're gonna eat them.
It's all connected. Exactly. You gotta throw a trash bag full of wing through your window.
You're not in season. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this was very funny. Well played. Didn't overstay its welcome. It's only like 2 minutes 50 seconds, so quick in and out. Boom. Maybe a little distracted by Bowen's large earring, but
Mm,
that's my issue.
that's you.
That's on me. That's on me. Bowen, you wear whatever you want.
Yeah, do you.
You do you.
But yeah,
And
I thought the sketch was pretty good. Like I said, in and out, pretty quick. I like the last line. Straight men, available everywhere except therapy.
yeah, yeah. I also liked how he was talking about uh, how with straight male friendships, it's like you can call them as much or as little as you want, and it doesn't change the friendship whatsoever. And Bowen at one point says, "Oh yeah, I'm moving to Europe for 7 years," and Travis just goes like, "Oh okay, cool. I'll see you when you get back."
It really is like that. Like
It really is.
I have friends I haven't talked to in a while, but like I know
Yeah,
if I just pick up the phone and they'll be like, "Hey, oh, hey, man, what's going on?" Like they
yeah,
won't be offended. It'll just be like, we'll just pick right up,
yep,
and I like
yep,
that.
yeah. In some ways, being a straight guy is pretty great.
You heard him here, folks. John Trumbull, being a straight man is better than being a woman. That's what I heard.
Not at all what I said, but we'll just move on.
All right, fine, damn it.
Uh, so next we have a sketch about how women be crazy.
Women be crazy. Am I right? Am I right, y'all?
This is Abby, the ex girlfriend.
Yes.
This is
Jimmy
Go ahead.
Fowley, Allison Gates, Sarah O'Sullivan.
Oh, look at that. Okay, we have Heidi at a bar. She runs into Travis, and he's her ex boyfriend. That we find out over the course of the sketch, they really only just went on one date together.
Yeah, and so we find out that according to her, she thinks that they're ex boyfriend and girlfriend, but of course they only went on one date.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the sketch, we find out that he has a new girlfriend, or actually more of a fiance,
Right.
and which of course causes Heidi to cry a crazy amount of tears because like apparently she has like some little device hooked up to around her eye that literally squirts tears out of around
Yeah.
her eyes like a super soaker.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm thinking it must have been in her wig or something because like you don't see any sort of apparatus, but she obviously had something hooked up
Yeah,
to her face that was just like so water's just bursting out, and
yeah. It has
her face is soaked within seconds.
yeah, it's definitely in the wig. I think at one point you see she has to like kind of squeeze her eyes or like
Uh huh.
press down on something to like
Oh
activate
yeah,
it.
she was like going into her eyes with her thumbs. Yeah.
Yeah. She had to like activate it somehow or something like that. And yeah, so it's just like she's just crying a crazy amount, but she's
Yeah,
trying to play it off.
because Travis did that himself towards the end of the sketch.
Yeah, but I think with Travis, like the thing was in his hands, or I don't know. Uh,
I don't know.
but yeah. So as she learned more and more about Travis and his new fiance and the things that they're doing, like she has the dream job she wants. She cries more. She's pregnant. She cries more. They're moving to New Orleans. She's always wanted to live in New Orleans. She cries more and more. It's just
Hmm.
her trying to play it off like she's not crying, but she's totally like soaking everything everywhere with her tears.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
yeah,
towards the end, we find out that she has a new boyfriend, and it's another cameo from brother Jason.
yes. And
So
then we see Travis.
that was nice. That was cute.
Yeah, and then Travis like, "Oh, you're dating him," and then Travis starts to cry
Right.
crazily.
Right.
Um, mm,
Yeah, I just thought this was okay. This is one of those sketches where after you have the initial shock or surprise of the tear thing, that's pretty much it. I mean, it just kind of repeats that, and that's fine. It was funny to see her face all soaked, but it didn't have a lot of big laughs for me.
yeah, it really didn't really have the big laughs I wanted. Like it's like you said, it's basically the tear squirting out of her face, and that's really it. That's the tear
Yeah,
thing is doing all the heavy lifting in this
yeah,
sketch.
yeah. I
And
mean, it's just kind of like, hey, let's build a sketch around this funny visual, and god damn it, you did.
yeah, I mean, it seemed. I think that's the thing about a few of these sketches where they just kind of have the funny visual and they build the entire sketch around that. And they
Right.
don't put too much into it. I mean, you could say that about Mama's Funeral, which is kind of the same thing, where it's just this
Hmm.
weird visual of a dead woman, smoking menthols in a beach chair or whatever, and like
Right. Right.
that's supposed to be enough to carry the sketch, and it's not. It's really not quite. So yeah, I thought the sketch was a little pretty lacking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it didn't really rise above okay for me. So
Yeah, same.
All right. Well, next, let's move on to our musical guest for the week, Ms. Kelsea Ballerini.
Yeah, or as she's known in these streets, Kelsea Ballerini. What?
Okay.
No, I was just trying to be hip.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to support you more? Or was I supposed to be like all hype man?
It would have been nice, John. It would
Okay.
have been nice.
All right. Yeah. Cue me up again.
No, I don't want you to do it anymore.
Okay.
Kelsea Ballerini.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Wah, wah,
Hey,
wah,
whoa, whoa, whoa,
wah.
whoa, whoa! Hey,
Woo, woo, woo. Oh, we're silly.
Yeah.
So she did 2 performances. The first one was called Blindsided.
Blindsided is sort of a country twangy kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely country pop.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. The first song.
I thought the first song was kind of I liked her second number, Penthouse, a lot more.
Yes.
That was more of a ballady thing, and I really appreciated her voice on that one. She's got a pretty great voice.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say that the first one kind of sounded. I mean, I don't want to say basic, but it sounded pretty basic. It sounded like a song you'd hear at the mall, or like.
You heard it here first, folks. Darren thinks Kelsea Ballerini is a basic bitch.
I didn't say the bitch part, but I did say the others.
But we all heard it. I mean, it was implied.
Yeah, read between the lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it sounds like, American Idol type of music, like stuff you hear at, stuff you kind of hear, at Target or whatever.
Yeah, not entirely my thing, but I like the second song, Penthouse, a lot more. I thought, okay, that's pretty good.
Penthouse I did like a lot more because it's more stripped down. It's just her and the piano. It's just a little bit more acoustic, and you do get to hear like she does have some pipes. So it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty nice.
Yep.
That's all I wrote. I really didn't have anything more else to say.
So yeah, all right. Darren thinks basic bitch.
Yep.
We're not going to resolve that here, so let's just move on to weekend update.
That's right.
Shall we?
Yes. Let's do it.
Weekend update. Let's see. Hosted by Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Switching it up with Jost and Che.
Che.
Hey. Yeah. Jost and Che. Jokes.
Jost and Che. What jokes tickled your fancy in this weekend update, Darren?
Let me see. I liked a few of them.
I'm assuming your fancies got tickled at some point.
Fancies were tickled. Things were. Well, I did like the joke about. You probably like this one too, about how they're like rewriting the James Bond books. So.
Yeah. Well, they did have a joke about that, and yeah, the joke they had, like they're revising the James Bond books a bit to kind of clean up some of the bits that haven't aged that well. So Ian Fleming had some racist shit in some of the Bond books.
What?
Probably all the Bond books, honestly. And their joke on SNL was that the name Pussy Galore will now be Cooter aplenty.
I don't know what. It's a childish joke. I will admit that, but damn it if I didn't chuckle.
I love the name Cooter aplenty. That's great. I just was like, well, that's not really what they're doing. So I kind of had problems with the joke on like the accuracy front because.
No, I get it.
Because like, I mean, look, I talked about this on Facebook and I think on Twitter too. Was there's literally a chapter in Live and Let Die where Ian Fleming titled the chapter N-word Heaven.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
What, are you serious?
Okay, yeah. Apparently, you didn't make that Google.
I did not. What, this is the first time hearing. Holy hell!
No, yeah. It's James Bond and Felix Leiter go to Harlem. They go to a jazz club, and the chapter, I think it's chapter 5, is literally titled N-word Heaven.
Oh.
So, and also like there's occasional like there'll be like a little, not really a rant, but sort of a thing about broad assumptions about races.
Oh dear!
Like in Live and Let Die, he's like, oh yeah, the black people are due to have their own supervillain now. I'm just like, what the hell? Are you writing these in the 1800s?
Oh my god!
In the 1850s instead of the 1950s? What the hell, Ian Fleming?
00 racist.
So I see what they're doing with the Bond books. It seems like I don't know how extensive the changes are, and it's fine. And honestly, I feel like it's more about marketing the books to a potential new audience than anything else.
I can see that. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But hey, I do like the name Cooter aplenty. I
It's
mean,
just
that's just.
yeah,
I also liked how they were talking about how with like the Oscars and other award ceremonies, they're talking about not calling it Best Actor and Best Actress anymore.
mm.
Um, and instead, it's going to be Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less.
Damn.
Solid joke. Solid joke.
I like Che's joke about how a man is gonna in I guess Missouri or something like that is gonna turn a jail into an Airbnb, which will be
Right.
be the first jail to not accept blacks.
Lot of racial stuff in this update, I thought.
Yeah, why is it gotta be about race?
I don't know. I don't know. There, of course, we're talking about the whole Dilbert thing, where Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, he said some racist shit.
Yeah, who saw that? Apparently, like people have kind of known this. Like,
Well, anyone who's been paying remote attention to Scott Adams for at least the last decade.
really, I have not.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, I mean, apparently, it's like just known that he was like a Trump supporter, and he was just saying some really
Yeah,
political.
I was probably maybe a little more tuned into this because I have a cartooning background, but yeah, no, he's been a piece of shit for a long time.
Wow. Yeah, that was really
It's
new to
just
me.
becoming more widely known. That's all that's happened. That's all that's happened here.
Wow. So yeah, so like I mean, after he said his racist shit, like a lot of the newspapers took away Dilbert, and I think he lost
Yeah,
like 80% of his income due to it. And
good.
yeah, and
I mean, look, I'm sure the man is still set for life if he was at all smart with his money. So
here's hoping
I
he
don't know if
wasn't.
it's really hurting him, and
Yeah,
now he's probably got a whole new career as gets to complain about how he's been canceled.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, now we can tap into that MAGA market.
exactly. Yeah, I'm sure he'll get speaking engagements up the wazoo.
Ugh,
Yeah,
yuck.
of him saying heinous things and people agreeing with the heinous things, and
Yeah,
yay, the world's on
hooray.
fire.
Yeah, USA.
But I did like the joke about Peanuts. Oops, all Franklin, which Franklin was, I think, the one black character in Peanuts. I think he's still like the one black kid
He's the only.
out in the mix.
Yeah, we the black community are where we keep tabs on him. Yeah, he's the only one.
Okay.
He's our one.
I mean, I feel like we've probably missed the window to introduce more black characters into Peanuts, what with Charles Schultz being dead and all.
Yeah, I think we're done with that.
Yeah,
We missed
yeah.
that train. Damn it.
I think the odds are low.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he brought in Franklin either in the late '60s or sometime in the '70s.
yeah, but yeah, I
Uh,
mean, so he was woke. I guess
he was trying.
he was trying.
It was good for its day.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, it helped. It was all right.
Yeah.
You know.
I did think it was really weird how they made a few jokes about Dilbert and then they move on. They do like a half a dozen other jokes about other things, and then they go into a death segment where Michael Longfellow appears as Dilbert, and I'm like, why did you change the subject and then go back to Dilbert? I thought that was just very weird structurally.
That was a little weird. I'm not sure why they kind of did it like that. It
Yeah,
would have made
it would
more.
have been a much more natural lead-in if they did those Dilbert jokes and then they were like, "Here with more to comment on this story is Dilbert,"
Yeah, that's weird. I'm not quite
because
sure
they
what they
had to
did.
kind of segue into it again, and I'm like, "What? Why are you doing that? Why are you segueing into it twice?"
Yeah, I also did like how. Well, since we're going to talk about the first death segment, where
Yeah.
Michael Longfellow comes out dressed as Dilbert in a
Hmm.
pretty solid costume. I'll say.
Very impressive makeup job. The SNL makeup department did a hell of a job making an actual human being look like Dilbert.
Right. Yeah. And yeah. So I like how Che introduced him by saying, talking about Scott Adams, saying his statement was like white people need to get the hell away from black people, and then Che said, oh, off the record, he has a point. And here to talk more.
I love Che's little asides. I mean, they're so damn funny.
Yeah. So yeah. So we have Michael Longfellow coming out as Dilbert,
Yeah.
and talking about Scott Adams, talking
Uh-huh.
about how we know that most cartoonists are weird, but racist weird. Let's just say I didn't see that memo.
Yeah, can speaking of somebody who's gone to cartooning school, can confirm. Yeah,
Yeah.
most cartoonists are weird, not racist weird.
Right. But I liked
Yeah.
how he said, let's just say I didn't see that memo. No response from the audience. The joke just died.
Perfect Dilbert joke and totally died. That kind of warmed my heart that they wrote something as unfunny as Dilbert. I don't know if that was intentional, but it worked on a meta level.
It was pretty.
Yeah.
Just seeing jokes die as a comedian, seeing people bomb is just
It does warm the cockles of our hearts
warms
because we're
our heart.
horrible, horrible people.
Yep.
Uh, and I liked how later he just goes on he says like, my hair is skin, Michael.
Yeah.
And then somehow he goes into a race war is coming, Michael.
Yeah, he goes into like talking about how he like took a day off or a wellness day, and
Right.
started reading Karl Marx and Stokely Carmichael, and he talks
Yeah.
about how a race war is coming and how he's ready to paint the city with the blood of the white man.
Yep.
I was like, where is this going?
Yeah.
That took a turn.
So yeah.
But yeah.
Ended with a race war. Which side are you taking in that, Darren? By the way.
Oh, I don't know if I could say on this podcast.
Okay. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I just want to plan ahead. It's like a trip to Atlantic City, only more so.
Yeah, the government's tapping my phones, John. I can't talk on the radio.
Okay. Just wondering. Okay. Well, I guess we'll now have the surprise of finding out.
You'll find out on the day.
That's something to look forward to.
Surprise!
Now I'm looking forward to the race war for a different reason.
Oh, mark your calendars.
What date?
I can't tell you that either. Damn.
Okay, all right. Damn it! But you'd fall into my trap. But okay.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately, I kind of like this sketch. It was very. It was kind of odd and weird, but like the energy that Longfellow.
It was nicely absurd. The Dilbert thing was such a funny visual. I mean, the makeup department really knocked themselves out on this.
Yeah, and I think Longfellow's just kind of laid back, casual, kind of delivery. I don't know. I kind of
it was kind of perfect for Dilbert, and yeah, it made the stuff all the funnier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, hearing somebody just talk casually about a race war is coming, that's just comedy right there.
Right. This one written by Longfellow, Gary Richardson, and Will Steven.
Nice job, gents.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job. We also had another guest segment. This was Punky Johnson and Mikey Day. Not a pairing we see a lot of.
Not at all. No.
I don't think we've ever seen this pairing before, but they're talking about their Oscar predictions. But it just, we find out they don't really have any Oscar predictions because the thing is, Punky is constantly getting the names of celebrities wrong.
Yeah, so we find out that, because they're not playing any characters, they're actually themselves.
Right.
We find out that, Punky, somebody who works in entertainment and sees celebrities all the time, does not know the name of many celebrities.
Pretty much any celebrity, and Mikey is assuring us all the way through. This is true. Rick Bernstein is apparently Bruce Springsteen, the guy with the jeans.
Yeah, and she called Tony Hawk Tony Hawkins,
right,
to his face.
Yes, because they're both white men with wheels.
Yeah, come on, man.
I loved her justification. Yeah, with Bruce Springsteen, she was like, "Look, Bruce Springsteen wasn't big in my house,
so sue a bitch."
Exactly. I loved how unrepentant she was. And you know what? I remember years ago at one of my old jobs, I think they were doing some sort of giveaway or something, and it was tickets to an Eagles concert.
Uh-huh.
And one of my coworkers, who was African American, had never heard of the Eagles.
I can understand that. Like,
yeah, I mean, at the time, or at first, when I heard that, it kind of blew me away. But it's not a lot of black people are listening to the Eagles, and also she was like pretty young. She probably still in her 20s.
That makes sense. I mean, like,
so I was like, okay, when I thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, why would she know the Eagles?
Yeah, like
unless you're listening to like the classic rock stations. You're not going to come across them a whole lot.
Exactly. I mean, like, I'm a music nerd, so like I knew about like the Eagles and all those other bands and the bands that came that were sort of before my time. So
can you give us a little Desperado?
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses?
Out riding fences.
Riding fences? Damn it! All right.
Out riding fences.
All right. It's not. All right, I don't know the rest of the word.
No, I enjoyed what you gave us.
Let somebody love you. That's the big.
I was putting you on the spot, and you delivered, sir.
See, I can't tell you why, but like,
right,
Desperado, it's not my register, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. I nearly asked for I can't tell you why, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit.
Life in the fast lane.
Um, we also find out Anne Hathaway is in Punky's world, Claire Blankenship.
Right.
And she's like, but seriously, put the picture back up. Tell me she doesn't look like a Claire.
Yeah. Because, like, we play a game where they mention celebrities' names who Punky thought they were, and we show them who they actually.
We try to guess who they actually are from the Punky name.
Yeah.
And Zoe Deschanel is not Zoe Deschanel, but Zoe Kravitz, who was apparently hosting the show when Punky made this error.
Jesus.
Uh, and then the kicker is, of course, she knows who Patrick Dempsey is because he's Dr. Derek from Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a pretty charming little segment.
I mean, very endearing. I love it when we see things that kind of give us a glimpse of what their off-camera relationship must be like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the way they're just genuinely cracking up, and they're just, I mean, it was just so much fun. This might have been my sketch of the night.
Ooh, interesting.
This is one of the candidates, at least.
Okay, fair enough. This kind of reminded me. Have you ever seen this segment that was on like Funny or Die called Under a Rock with Tig Notaro?
Yes, it did remind me of that.
Yeah.
Where Tig Notaro, the great stand-up comedian and actor, yeah, she is another person. Her thing is she hasn't heard of a lot of celebrities, so they have these celebrities actually come on, and Tig tries to guess who they are, and they are like well-known people. Like she had Kaylee Cuoco from The Big Bang Theory on.
Yeah, she had like Tony Shalhoub on, and she didn't know who he was.
She had Julie Bowen from Modern Family. Wolfgang Puck was on, I think, and
like why?
Unfortunately, it was kind of discontinued because of the pandemic, and they haven't really gotten back to it.
Yeah,
but it was so much fun.
It was fun to see like Wyclef come on, and then her slowly starting to figure out, oh, that's
right.
And the people on the show give her clues and stuff, and the guest gives them clues, and then it's like, oh, you're Wyclef Jean, hey, all right.
Right, and it's kind of funny because like most of these people are so well known, they probably can't go outside without getting hassled to some degree, and like I think Julie Bowen and Kaylee Cuoco in particular found it kind of refreshing to be with somebody who had no idea who they were.
Yeah, like you'd think like they might be, people might be insulted by that. Like you don't know who I am, but some celebrities are like, oh yeah, no, that's fine if you don't know who I am.
That's actually cool. So check out Under a Rock with Tig Notaro. There's at least half a dozen episodes on YouTube still. Very funny stuff. I remember Julie Bowen saying like any celebrity who has like too big of an ego should like come on here and be put back into place.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
But yeah, so this had the same sort of vibe. It was a lot of fun. I'd love to see them revisit this.
Absolutely, same.
This was very funny, and just like Mikey and Punky are such a fun offbeat duo. I want to see more of that dynamic.
I did not see that coming. That's very interesting pairing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them paired up before on much of anything. So that was fun. It's fun when we get like new cast combos.
Absolutely.
And lastly, we had another segment that I've missed. Sarah News.
Yes.
Sarah Sherman coming on to do the Sarah News. She hasn't done this at all this season. Hasn't done this like last season, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while. And apparently they said it's going to be her birthday in a few days. So this is Sarah Sherman, Sarah News' birthday.
They said in 3 days. So if I'm doing the math correctly, I believe her birthday will be on Tuesday.
Ooh, all right. So go get her something, guys. Maybe get her Chloe's bed. Who knows?
Okay, Darren, you're calling back to something that we talked about before we started recording. So now I had to explain that. Okay. I mentioned to Darren when we were talking about, is there any SNL news we should cover? I said, well, I noticed on Instagram that Chloe Finewood was selling her bed. And she was like, oh, well, contact me if you want to buy my old bed.
I really thought we said that on the air. All right. Well.
I know, but we were recording, but we hadn't officially started the show yet. So maybe now Frank will put that at the end of this episode or something. I don't know, but
I'll leave it up to you, Frank. You do with it what you will.
Yeah. So just so you get that reference, Chloe Fineman is apparently selling her bed on Instagram. So if that is a thing you want to buy, that apparently is the thing you can buy. Okay. I don't know if she's found a buyer yet.
Have at it, boys. But yeah, Sarah News.
Sarah News, where basically she's giving her little segments, Colin Jost has a comment, and then she turns it around to be a big anti-Colin story.
Yeah, like I mean, I normally do like Sarah News, but this one I kind of felt kind of like she was kind of going through the motions. It kind of, I
It
don't
was a
know.
little weaker than the past segments. I will give it that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was amused by it, but I didn't find it as fall down funny as I did before.
yeah, it's kind of going through the same beats as before. It's like, oh, she says something, puts down Colin, puts
Hmm.
down Colin, says something weird, puts down Colin, says something sexual, and it's kind of just kind of rinsing and repeating, kind of the same thing she
Has
does.
it run its course for you?
Not quite, but it feels like it might be getting there.
This just in: Darren Patterson thinks Sarah's snooze has been run into the ground.
You had that one ready to go, didn't you?
I kind of thought of it a second or two before, but yeah,
I I respect that. I respect
yeah,
applaud you, sir. But yeah, her saying things like, oh, like how she's turning 30, or as Colin
yeah,
calls it, 15 years too old.
yeah.
Um, of course, Colin's shocked, like, hey, my family watches this show. I think, oh, she also said something about,
Oh, that's not true.
yeah, no one's, not even Scarlett. Come on.
Oh, ouch.
I'm sorry. I'm joking. I keyed. I keyed. Of course, she talks about how Peacock airs episodes of Columbo with Peter Falk.
Yeah, and she goes on this little tangent about how hot Peter Falk is,
Yeah,
which I kind of love.
and like, oh, maybe he could solve the mystery of my sopping wet chair.
Yeah,
Jesus,
that's graphic.
my my stars.
I will say though that Peter Falk, he was married to like a much younger woman, a very attractive blonde. So Peter Falk had some game, folks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yep.
My man.
Yep.
But
And yeah, check out Columbo on Peacock. I mean, come on.
absolutely. What do you?
You like Poker Face? Watch yourself some Columbo.
Yeah, I think I will. I don't think have I ever seen Columbo. I may not have.
You haven't seen Columbo?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring this up here in the middle, but I don't.
Oh, holy shit, dude! You got to see some
All
Columbo.
right, all right. I'll watch
No,
Columbo.
no, Darren. I'm not mad. I maybe feel a little sorry for you, but I'm also so excited. You get to see Columbo for the first time, dude.
Okay. I mean, how many episodes are there? This might take a while.
Well, there are a lot because like they did it in the '70s, and then he came back and did it in the '80s, and I think he continued those movies into like the '90s or maybe even the early 2000s. But the '70s episodes are what you want to see.
All right, all right.
It's good stuff.
I'll put this on.
Like okay, like give me a cool celebrity who is like a celebrity in the '70s.
Celebrity in the '70s. Charo.
Okay, there is not a Columbo episode with Charo.
Damn it.
Don't go as obscure as Charo.
McLean Stevenson.
I don't think there's a Columbo with McLean Stevenson. Okay, you are really bad at this game.
2 for 2.
There are Columbo episodes with Robert Culp, with Robert Vaughn, with William Shatner, with who else? Patrick McGowan from The Prisoner.
Elliot Gould.
I don't think there's one with Elliot Gould, but he would have been fun.
Strike
Jack Cassidy. Jack Cassidy popped up a lot.
Candice Bergen.
No.
Strike 4.
No.
All right.
You are batting 1,000 at naming people who are never on Columbo.
You told me to name any celebrity from the '70s. I named 4.
Okay, I'm sorry. I cast too wide of a net. That's on me.
All right. See, that's your fault.
But I'm going to recommend some Columbo episodes for you.
Please,
and
please do. Steve Martin.
Yeah, it's a very fun show because like it's you watch Poker Face, right? And I understand Poker Face is kind of similar.
Yeah. I like Poker Face.
I haven't gotten to Poker Face yet, but like Poker Face, like you know who the murderer is at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's Columbo's basic thing. So it's all about we see we meet the murderer first. They come on. We see them commit the murder. We see how they commit the murder and how they're covering their tracks. And then Columbo comes on to investigate. And so the suspense comes from how is he going to catch the person? How is he going to trip the person up?
Okay.
And it's so much fun because it's basically just like this cat and mouse game with Columbo matched with the person. and it's so satisfying when you finally see him caught. And Columbo is such a great character.
Okay, all right. I guess I
So
got some homework.
I'm going to recommend some Columbo episodes
This is
to you.
this is exciting. I can't wait to see.
This is going to be fun.
Yay.
They're like an hour and a half. Some are like 2 hours. So
I'll
it's
call.
like a little mini movie. It was the NBC mystery movie.
I'll call in sick tomorrow.
But they're 100%. So you call in sick with a case of Columbo.
I'm down with the Columbos.
I'm so excited you get to watch Columbo now.
Yay!
Yay! As one of my friends says, you're one of today's lucky 10,000.
Hooray! All right.
When somebody gets to discover something new that's really cool, you're one of the lucky 10,000, and you're one of today's lucky 10,000.
Hooray! I've got the golden ticket.
Yay! Oh, I'm so tickled by this.
You win, Charlie.
You win, Charlie. Chocolate Factory is yours.
If you want to see paradise. Is Gene Wilder in episode Columbo?
Oh, that would have been an awesome Columbo. No Gene Wilder in Columbo. God damn it.
See, I keep naming these celebrities and not in Columbo. I know.
Like I said, you are really, really good at naming people who are never on Columbo.
I have a gift.
But maybe I'll just send you a list of people, and you can tell me who you really like out of that bunch, and I can...
Yeah. Okay, done.
Maybe I'll do that.
Done.
Leslie Nielsen pops up in a couple episodes. He's not the killer, but...
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
All right, now we're cooking.
Anyway, okay, all right. Back to SNL, people.
Weekend update. So weekend update. Not bad. Pretty good.
Decent weekend update. I think the Punky and Mikey segment was the clear standout. But Dilbert was pretty good. Sarah News, a shade or two below what they've done in the past, but I'd like to see that come back.
Right, absolutely. And at the end of weekend update, we get a title card with John Head, who recently passed. He was a part of the talent acquisition team for SNL back in the day. He was, I think he was like there at the beginning. He's like responsible for so bringing together the original cast and whatnot. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, so he's passed, and of course, just wanted to give a bit of a tip of that to him. So R.I.P. John Head.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. R.I.P. Mm-hmm. All right. So next, moving on with the SNL, we got a sketch called Family Meeting.
Written by Dan Bulla.
Dan Bulla. Oh, just solo. That's kind of unusual.
So solo joint. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a family's kids gathering together. We've got Chloe. We've got Devin. And Marcello, and then the parents are Ego and James Austin Johnson. If this seems like an unlikely family to you, don't worry. They cover it in like the second verse of the song.
Right. Yeah.
So they're basically breaking the news of the mom sleeping with another guy, and then the father sitting in the corner and watching in song.
Yeah. James Austin Johnson has a nice singing voice. He's kind of singing in this nice, like Michael McDonald type of.
Yeah. Very, very Chant Sweet Freedom vibes.
Yeah. Oh.
Chant Sweet Freedom.
You are the magic. You're right where I want to be. Oh, that song rocks so hard.
Our Running Scared episode still available, by the way.
Still up there, folks. If you want to.
Still up there. We talk about that music video.
Yes, just at almost too much of a length, some would say.
Yeah. A lot of people say that about our podcast in general.
Yeah.
But,
so it's them singing to their kids, saying that, the mother is now sleeping with this other guy.
They're in a throuple.
Yes, his name is Sucre Wolodowski.
Right.
And he's cool with it. He watches in the corner. And then, of course, they cut to Travis, who plays Sucre, who's playing Streets of Rage 2.
Yeah.
And he's a felon who, explores their mom's body like Magellan.
And we get the spelling of his name, which
yes.
I'm sure people were curious about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Odd sketch. I liked when the kids were like, wait, we don't understand. And then the parents go on a tangent about like, oh, no, well, when we conceived you, Devin, Mom, Ego was on top. And when we conceived you, Chloe. Dad was on top, and when we conceived you, Marcelo, we were like
On our sides.
on our sides. Yeah. And
Yeah,
they were like, that's not how that works.
yeah, that is something that though was interesting because like when they said that they were like Ego and JJ's kids, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's Devin, Chloe, and Marcelo. That's
It's a weird combo. Yeah.
yeah, and but then Sucre called attention to it. It's like, hey, how are the three of you their kids? And
Yeah.
then so they have a weird answer for that. I did like the one joke where they talk about well, what happened to your grandkids' college fund? Nothing happened to that first, and then they say, well, we explain it in the song, and
Yeah.
that just is just a guitar solo by
Yeah.
James Austin Johnson, and then ends with Ego saying, "And the money's all gone now."
Right. And then he's like, but what did you think of the guitar solo, kids? Um,
This was an odd one.
it was an odd one. It was another in the more odd than funny, but it did have some laughs. It was okay.
Yeah, like I mean, again, they do this thing like what I talked about before, where they just kind of repeat what they see. And it's like your name is Sucre Wolodowski. You're gonna,
So they just repeated what they saw.
yeah, they did. They repeated what they saw. Like, oh, you're playing Streets of Rage 2? Like,
So he was playing Streets of Rage 2.
and his name is Sucre Wolodowski,
So his name was Sucre
and he's
Wolodowski.
playing Streets of Rage 2.
He was playing Streets of Rage 2.
So your mom, you're sleeping with Sucre Wolodowski?
So you're saying you didn't like the repetition in the sketch?
Just, I'm saying I didn't like the repetition in this sketch.
Huh. Huh.
But JJ's cool with it.
Yeah, and it was a bitchin' guitar solo.
It was pretty rad. I will give him that. I
Um,
wonder if that was James Johnson actually doing it, or is that like one of the guitarists in the
I
band?
don't know. I wasn't looking closely enough to
Yeah,
tell.
because I looked at the like when he was playing it, it kind of looked like he was actually playing it. So I was like, can James play guitar? I was like,
I don't know.
let's look
I
into
don't
it.
know. That's a good question. So yeah, odd, but there were still laughs to be had for me.
Right,
So
and yeah,
yeah, I'm not going to write home about it, but this was an enjoyable way to pass the time, I thought.
yeah, and from that we go into Garrett from Hinge.
Garrett from Hinge. Speaking of odd,
Oh,
this one, whoa,
oh,
what's going on here?
this was all over the
We
place.
we got Heidi and Travis as a couple in bed together, and I'm thinking like, oh, okay, he's the guy that she's hooked up with from Hinge. Uh,
Yeah, and we find out that actually he's not like they've known each other for a while and they just hook up whenever he's in town. And then she
right,
said, "Well, I've been looking forward to this. I even blew off a guy I was supposed to meet up with on Hinge."
right.
And that guy, Garrett,
Is
just
Bowen
but
who
yeah,
comes in,
just walks into her apartment
walks into her bedroom. Yeah,
or
as you do.
as you do. He had like a bowl haircut, a Stewie Griffin T-shirt,
Right.
and
So I mean, he looks like a catch.
yeah, just 5 stars. Just
Sex on a stick.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and
I'm
yeah, he's like very outraged that he was kept waiting at the restaurant by himself.
Boccacinos.
Yeah. And then we find out over the course of the sketch he's open to being a thruple,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I thought it was weird that we have the second sketch in a row with mention of being a thruple.
yeah.
Um,
Like
was tonight's SNL brought to you by thruples?
it might have been. I don't know what they
It might have been.
those SNL writers. They're a kinky bunch.
This was very random. Definitely more weird than funny for me.
Yeah,
This honestly felt to me like they were writing it as they were performing it.
it really did. At one point, he goes into the bathroom and he tries to calm himself down, saying that it's like, "Calm down, Garrett. You can't kill them. Whatever
Right.
happens, you can't kill them." And then yeah, like you said, he says he's okay with a thruple. Then he tries to give her a foot rub. Then
Yeah.
he,
Which seems to be genuinely cracking up Heidi. So I'm wondering how much that was scripted or I don't
yeah,
know.
that might have been. And then he tells him to take a COVID test because like there's a
Right.
pandemic, which of course, then Heidi says, "Did he say a pandemic?" And it's like, oh, he just.
and then Darren's temples started to
I
throb.
just, it's such a pet peeve of mine. Like I do not like it when they do that. It's just like,
It's such a pet peeve of yours?
yeah, ah! Don't do that. Yes.
So you find it
I
annoying.
find it
Okay.
annoying. And at one point, he's posing like Stewie Griffith does on his T-shirt, and
Yeah.
he says, "Could you stop posing like Stewie Griffin on your T-shirt?" And it's just, yeah, this was.
So
I
odd.
can't. I'm even having a hard time like
Yeah,
describing the
no,
sketch.
this is one I just kind of gave up taking notes on because I was like, this is impossible to summarize. You did a better job than I would have,
Yeah,
but
it's just. It,
it's so random. It's so weird. It's so yeah, more weird than funny. But
yeah,
I guess they seem to be having a good time doing it. So
yeah, that's great. I'd like to have a good time watching it.
yeah, just a weird one. A weird. I mean, even for like for getting towards the end of the show, even for the last half hour of the show, this was weird.
Very, very bizarre. Like it's. Yeah, I was like, "What is this?" And I just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a miss for me, I'd say.
Yeah, this was kind of a misfire for me too.
Okay.
Lastly, we have our final sketch of the night: "Too Hot to Handle."
Yeah, too cold to hold. They call the Ghostbusters and they're in control.
You
Oh,
went Bobby
Will.
Brown.
Yeah, yep, you know it.
What
Uh,
was the name of that song?
on our own, off
On
Ghostbusters,
Our Own. That was it. That was it. Okay.
Ghostbusters 2. Listen to our episode; it's still available.
That was gonna drive me nuts.
Yes. Now you can sleep at night.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes, now I can get to sleep tonight. So apparently this is like based on a real dating show
I
where it's
Yeah, I looked it up. So this is like a British American reality show. According to
okay.
so this is Wikipedia's premise of it.
Like couples go to an island and they can't show any physical affection for each other.
Right. The show is hosted by a cone-shaped virtual assistant named Lana. The show revolves around.
That seems like a great choice right
Yeah.
there. I mean, already I'm on board.
Where are we gonna get to host this thing? How about this robot? God. The show revolves around a group of adults, all of who primarily engage in meaningless flings and are unable to form long-lasting relationships, who are placed together in a house for 4 weeks. When they arrive, the contestants believe they are on a totally different series and are surprised when it's revealed that they are on Too Hot to Handle. While
Oh well, that's gonna work out
Yeah,
well.
while there, the contestants must go through various workshops, all while being forbidden from any kissing, sexual contact, or self gratification. The idea behind this is to foster genuine connections between the participants. The contestants start with a $100,000 grand prize that gets reduced anytime a rule is broken.
Can they like even hold hands?
I don't know. Maybe that's not really like you can't really like.
I mean, that's physical affection, but it's like very low key.
Yeah, that's you can't get your nuts off holding hands, can you?
I mean, unless you've got like other stuff going on, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What does that
like
mean?
in your life. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, I think.
no, I didn't mean it like that.
Uh,
But it's weird. So it's a weird show. They're parodying this weird show,
yeah, yeah,
and Travis and Chloe are a couple.
yeah, and like basically, it's all of them talking about how they can't. They're all bound together by they all want to win the money, so they haven't had any
Right.
sexual contact. And then the little Alexa machine in the middle is like, oh
The
no,
cone thing is saying like, "Oh no, people have broken the rules, so you've lost this amount of money."
yeah, and they find out that it's Travis has been hooking up with Chloe, who's this Glenn Bechamel, and she's like this kind of weird, I guess classically unattractive woman with big hair. And the joke is basically no one can believe that he's breaking the rules to hook up with this odd woman,
Yeah,
and that's really it.
that's really it. It's just 3 minutes of confusion.
It's like you're hooking up with her. What?
There's weird things going on.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
yeah,
yeah, and then they all have like really weird bad accents, like the type of accents I do on this podcast, and it's like you know,
you do bad accents
I
on this
yeah
podcast.
yeah I do a bad accent on this podcast.
Wow, that was really
I,
bad.
I,
That was wow. Even by Darren standards, that was
I
bad.
swear they
Wow.
were doing accents like that in the sketch. All right, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just I'm
No.
just being correct here. And of course it's Chloe saying, "Yeah, sorry, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I guess they say you are what you eat. I guess that means I'm Rodney's ass." So it's like, all right.
Yeah, it was. It just felt like Chloe had this weird character she wanted to do, and let's find some odd context to put her in. And
Yeah.
yeah, didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of reminded me of, remember that pre-tape on the Phoebe Waller-Bridge episode where it's like the UK, reality show type of thing. It kind of had vibes of that, but yeah, this one will just seem kind of aimless, really.
Yeah,
It's just like once you see the premise, it just kind of repeat that over and over again. Don't really go anywhere with it. There's no real escalation, and it's
just
just
yeah,
ends.
weird meandering sketch. Just kind of ending with a whimper instead of a bang.
Yeah, just puttering out. And that one was
Yep.
written by Rosebud Baker, Chloe Feynman, Jake Nordwin, Sierra O'Sullivan.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And Garrett from Hinge was written by Jimmy Fowley. The Please Don't Destroy Boys and Bo and Yang.
If you say so. I still say we're making it up as they went. But okay.
Yeah, and
I've seen improv scenes that are better structured than that.
Yes, and
so that was it for the show. No Andrews Mukes or Molly tonight, like at all.
I'm trying to think.
I saw them during the good nights, and I was like, I think this is the first time I've seen either one of those tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Molly wasn't anywhere.
Yeah, Molly is being very underserved lately.
Yeah, like I thought she had a bit of a breakout moment in that that pre-tape where like the newbies get to talk, and like
I mean, that was great. I loved the thing they did with Please Don't Destroy, where Molly ended up as like having some political office. I think she was. They were governor.
Yeah, that was great. It just seems
that was great.
I mean,
haven't gotten to see too many opportunities for Molly to shine in sketches, though, especially lately.
Yeah,
and I'm getting a little worried about them.
Yeah, like I don't know. I hope this isn't just like a Melissa Villaseñor thing all over again or Aristotle thing all over again. Because
Well, Molly could do worse than a Melissa Villaseñor thing, because Melissa Villaseñor was on the show for quite a while.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or maybe not. Maybe I don't know, Lauren Holt. Like it's just
yeah.
But even Lauren Holt didn't get that much. He even got less than Molly, which is a bummer.
Yeah, I just like to see more Molly. I mean, I love seeing Andrew pop up and stuff. I'm not worried about Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew was in the Cut for Time pre-tape, so that's something.
He was, and that gives us a good transition into talking about it. The Cut for Time pre-tape was called NFL Gives Back. Do we have writing credits for this one, Darren?
Shit, I think I clicked it off. I'll look it up. Don't worry.
Okay. Until we get writing credits for this, we're just going to assume that this spontaneously came out of the ether. It just emerged fully formed from Zeus's forehead, like the goddess Athena. So,
okay, yeah, I can't see to find the writing credits.
Okay, well, like we said, this sketch wrote itself.
Yes.
As we said, it was called NFL Gives Back, and it's NFL players. They're offering a service to women whose boyfriends are physically unable to pick them up.
Yeah.
Because women get a kick out of that.
Yes, women like to feel tiny and be lifted up by big, burly men.
Yeah. I can see how that would be fun. I can see the appeal.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
that's not something I have in my life, but yeah.
And continuing our theme with Mikey Day getting cucked, we see Mikey Day and
getting cucked.
Yeah, as Mikey Day and Heidi are a couple, and they're making out. She wants him to lift her up. He's unable to do it because he's a wimpy man. And of course, then we have
he's playing a wimpy man. Yeah. Let's clarify. Yeah. I'm sure Mikey Day, stud.
Yes, exactly. So then, of course,
and he can lift all you bitches.
Yeah, damn, homie. All right. Yeah. So then, of course, we have Travis Kelce lift Heidi up in the air like a pretty little princess.
And cameos from several other NFL players, like his brother Jason.
Yes, exactly.
And other people I didn't recognize, but I assume I was supposed to. I was a sports fan.
Yeah. The other one I'll look up. But yeah, he was another football playing man.
Oh yeah, please look it up.
Will do.
Look it up, because we've had such great results with that.
Absolutely. But yeah, I liked this sketch. I thought it was a pretty strong
I
sketch.
enjoyed it. I wish it had ended up in the show.
Yeah, I liked how they said that one little thing where they talk about how you may be eligible for this service if your boyfriend is a comedy writer, or
Yes.
adult Legoist, or
Yes.
loves Andor, or has traveled to see John Mulaney.
Yeah. I feel seen.
That last one got me. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
even
Uh,
John Mulaney is like, yep, that's true.
they got me.
I have a demographic.
Wimpy guys like me.
But yeah, I liked this sketch quite a bit. I really wish they kept it in.
Yeah, I liked it. It was funny stuff. It was funny stuff. Also we had the funny visual of just the big burly guys picking up the women, and the women are obviously getting a kick out of it.
Yeah, we see them actually.
It is fun.
Yeah, we see
Yeah,
them pick up Chloe, see them pick up
yeah.
Ego. Yeah, women like that shit.
I think Heidi gets picked up at one
I
point.
can.
I don't think there was any picking up of Sarah.
No,
I feel like she missed out on the picking up.
yeah, I can see Heidi really liking that because, like as we said before, Heidi is a huge fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. So, like for her,
So glad that sentence ended the way it did.
what is it?
You said Heidi is a huge, and then you paused. I was
I,
like, "Oh, where are we going? Where are we going?"
I didn't realize they did that. I was just taking a breath. Oh shit!
That was an ill-timed breath, my friend.
Sorry, Heidi.
She is a huge fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, whew, okay,
Yes. Oh, okay.
all right. That was a roller
Yeah,
coaster,
Justin
folks.
Gardner, if you're listening, your sister's great. Uh, but yeah. So like for her to be lifted by a player on her favorite team, I'm sure she.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of the Kansas City Chiefs connection, but yeah, that must have been a kick. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
really, who doesn't want a nice piggyback ride every once in a while?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I'm a big honking man, but I'd love to have a little piggyback ride from somebody.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Andre the Giant is dead, so
Yeah.
we don't have many options.
Ugh. Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah.
R.I.P. But yeah.
Anyway, so that was the show.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about it overall?
Very mixed bag overall. Things I definitely liked. I thought the monologue was good. I enjoyed the Please Don't Destroy sketch as usual. Um, the what else? What else? I like the Dilbert. I like the NFL goes back. I think I'm gonna have to go for sketch of the night though. The Mikey and Punky
Ooh,
segment on Update, because that just tickled my funny bone the most.
okay. Yeah, I'd say that was. I thought that was pretty great. I did like the Dilbert. I think my sketch it might be the Please Don't Destroy. I definitely think the first half was stronger than the second.
I'd say so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
Stuff before Update.
Yeah, like anything after Update, it was really oof.
Oh, and Straight Male Friend, I liked quite a
Oh
bit
yeah,
too.
that's true. I'll give
That,
that.
that was good. And American Girl Cafe, I liked it till the abrupt ending. That's my only real criticism of that. I thought it was well played and well written, and production design was good.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
definitely like toward up till the end. It was like, all right, we could have.
but very mixed bag. A lot of ups and
Oh,
downs.
Creed Humphrey. That's the other football player in the NFL Gets Back sketch.
Oh, you're making that up.
I'm not. I swear to God, it's Creed Humphrey. That's a real name of a real person.
It is not.
Creed Humphrey. That's what I'm telling you.
It is not. It is not. I believe there's a Creed Humphrey when he comes over to my apartment and gives me a piggyback ride. That is the only circumstance I will believe there's a Creed Humphrey, sir.
Creed Humphrey, if you're listening to this podcast, and I know you are, go
Yeah.
over to John Trumbull's house in New Jersey and you give him a piggyback ride so you can prove me right and prove him wrong.
But like email first.
Yeah.
Just don't just show up. That's weird.
Yeah,
It's 2023. Nobody wants unexpected visitors.
yeah, don't show up in the middle of the night being like, I'm here to give you a piggyback ride.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That's no good.
He'll probably call the cops on you.
Yeah, most likely.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, and
Should we see what the people thought?
let's see what the people thought. What did the people say?
All right. Okay. Let's see. First, our friend Boardman gets paid, who I was told this week is not actually from England.
What?
That's somebody else.
Oh.
Yes, that's right. It's Mikey with two E's who is from England,
Right.
because the extra E is for England. That is my new mnemonic device to remember this.
I like it.
Yes. Okay, so Boardman Gets paid, says, "Hello from the corner. I personally loved this episode as a sports fan and as someone who had Travis Kelce on their fantasy team. I wish the NFL Goose sketch was part of the actual show." I think he means the NFL Gives Back sketch.
Yeah.
You could tell he was a little bit nervous, but he warmed up. Love you guys.
Aw.
And he gives a little peace sign emoji. Oh, thank you, Boardman.
We love you too, Boardman.
We always love hearing from you. We love you too, even though I don't remember where you're from.
Yeah. Let's talk to English Mike. Mikey with 2 E's. He thought...
Mikey with 2 E's. The extra E is for England.
Yes. Thought it was an average episode. Some good stuff and some not so great. A lot of the sketches seem to have little or no ending at all.
Like we've been saying, yes.
Even if the premise was decent. Cold open and monologue were okay, I guess. And as always, Weekend Update is the headliner for me. Pleased to see Sarah more also.
Yeah, nice to see Sarah.
Absolutely.
Always nice to, and I love to see her pop up on Update again. I just thought this wasn't as strong as the previous Sarah News segment.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Let's see, my friend Scott Hume, who's at MNS Hume on Twitter, he says, "Weird that at least half of Update was cast members making fun of other cast members, though. First, Ego was the butt of jokes, and then Colin. I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm generally always fine with Colin Jost being the butt of jokes. And
absolutely.
I love that he's a good sport enough to let them do that as often.
Yeah, I mean, he's a well-paid celebrity with a attractive wife, so you can.
Yeah,
we can, at the very least, we can make a little fun of him.
He's not hurting. Oh, I think I read Scott's comments out of order. They're appearing out of order on my feed. So he also said, better than the last few episodes. The tear machine not working on the one sketch was funnier than the actual sketch. American Girl and Straight Male Friend were highlights for us.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
Okay. And so that was him saying the nice stuff and then coming in with a little criticism on the updates.
Okay.
So sorry I read that out of order, Scott.
Yeah, no worries. And Jacob at Jake362. It was okay, better than last week's, but still forgettable. Bummed that I didn't enjoy Sarah News as much. I usually love her digs at Colin, but I think it needed more to keep it from feeling stale. Another episode with lack of good endings. I wish Steve Castillo was still with the show.
Okay.
All right, not bad.
Well, yeah, so it seems like a bit of a mixed bag with the SNL Nerds listeners as well. So
absolutely. Okay, yeah, so it seems like they, for the most part, it seems that they agree with us.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's nice. You can have your own opinions, of course, though.
Yes.
So if you want to join in on the conversation, you can find us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show. You can also follow our individual pages on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and then the word comic.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
Whew, that was a ride.
Mm-hmm.
That was a ride. So next week, SNL's back with another new episode. This time they're going to have Jenna Ortega and the 1975.
Yes, Jenna Ortega is the hot new actress out here in these streets.
She's in the Wednesday show. She's in the new Scream movie. She's done other things.
I think she's like a Disney kid, or she came up in the Disney shows.
There you go. That's why I haven't heard of her until now.
Yeah, she was on a few episodes of that Netflix show You.
I've heard of the show You, and I don't know much about it. I don't think I heard of it until like Chris D'Elia was getting canceled.
Oh
so
yeah, it has a following. It's pretty popular, but I don't really watch it. But yeah, like with that Wednesday show, like that's the show that Jenna Ortega really blew up on like recently.
Yeah,
like she's kind of everywhere now. So
she's the It Girl.
Yeah. So this is SNL just booking the It Girl and just really.
Did you see? She was on I think it was on the SAG Awards. She was presenting with Aubrey Plaza.
Yes, that was great.
And that was so funny. They was like, I don't know why we're paired up together. And then and they're both just masters of deadpan. And then they were like saying in unison, "Oh yeah, we should track down the people who booked us and do this." And they're saying it's very funny.
Yeah, I think it kind of went viral. Like I've seen a lot on the TikToks and the Twitters and whatnot. But
funny stuff.
They're practically sisters if you look at them.
Yeah, I mean they've got a similar enough look, and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's weird that because like usually that little banter part they do before they present the award is people kind of forget about it. It's always very forgettable. So to have a part,
I mean, there's it's a precarious thing. Yeah, a lot of times they're not written terribly well. And yeah,
so to have something that really like resonates with people and like goes viral, that's like wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, General Ortega next episode with the 1975.
Yep. Yeah, looking forward to it. So, and hopefully you're looking forward to it too. So, and we hope you'll see you then. So we'll see you next week. And until then, Nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.